far as the preparation to go for games, it's not working right now. What has to change in your preparations to get something to work to get better starts?
You keep pushing, you keep moving forward. We had, obviously, it was nice to have Thompson back in the lineup. So you're playing tonight without Tuck. You got Thompson in the lineup. You saw that I kept that fourth group with Byro, Rosine, Olofsson. The third group with Krebs, Okposo. We have with the third group now that we go. But to keep some continuity there, to build, to sit down after the game, go through line stuff. Obviously, with the injuries we've had, we haven't had that type of stability at all. And we'll pinpoint some things from group to group to give them a better visual of what they're capable of. Obviously, you get into this situation and you're missing some key players. You feel a little vulnerable, and you could tell on the bench we feel vulnerable at times. And it took us a while to collect ourselves. But you could see moments on the other side of that, feeling vulnerable, that we got back to being aggressive and whatnot. So we'll work to paint that picture for them, that, identify with what you can do, not what you might be limited in.
When you see the recent trend of early deficits, Don, does it make you consider what you can do differently on a game day? I know sometimes you need to have a morning skate because there's no practice beforehand, but does it really just open up every possibility of what
it does, absolutely. So we will, we're aware of it as well, and you go, you obviously go every day, and you're looking for more, and no different. It'll be no different tomorrow, and again, you're looking for anything. The consistency and having some consistency helps. Unfortunately, this is a challenging part of the schedule with what's happened and how it's laid out, and you work through it.
You said use the word vulnerable. I might say fragile too. How surprised are you that this team is that mentally fragile? I mean, you went through a lot last year, and you're in a new season, and this team seems completely unable to compose itself at times.
Well, it's obviously more challenging. We had Thompson back, but the perfect scenario is our top 5 penalty killers are out of the lineup tonight. So you have to deal with players playing in new roles, new situations. As an example, guys are responsible now for more than they were, and it's a process. And again, there's bigger shoes that they have to fill now, and that's more pressure. So yes, I think you're right by using the word fragile when you look specifically even at that game early on. You give up a goal, you give up a second one, and then you finish the period. I think we had 6 or 7 scoring chances, and could have got out of the period 2-1 at that point after it was pretty messy to start. Could have been 2-2. It wasn't, but the mentality shifted a bit and wasn't there at the start. So. This league is unforgiving. This is not unique to one team here. This happens quite a bit, and you've got to learn to deal with it, and it's a big growth opportunity to deal with it. It's elevated expectations, elevated pressure, and learning to deal with it will make us better and stronger. But we obviously need to do that. So. Again, clock moving, and their back was to the wall, and their mentality, changed. Obviously, the puck pressure. So systematically, way better pressuring pucks, way more aggressive and assertive, handing off the pressure, supporting the next guy to pressure, and more confidence with the puck. But everything had to do again with the psyche and freeing your mind to be aggressive. Listen, you're going to be vulnerable when you're aggressive. You're going to give stuff up. And you've got to be comfortable with that. And when you're not as successful as you want to be, you start fearing the mistake, and then you're making the same mistake, not being aggressive, and that's the worst. And that was the early part of the game.
When you have a group that's obviously struggling with confidence right now, and you've got injuries, as a coach, what tools do you have at your disposal to push accountability? Since we especially when you're falling down behind in games. It's tough to bench guys. You only have.
I would say this: you're either an accountable person or you're not. I can punish anybody in the position I'm in. I can take ice time away, but you're punishing them. You need accountable people, and I do believe we have accountable people. It's a challenge. I think the biggest thing is for me to have confidence. I have confidence in our group. I have confidence that we can resolve this, and I have, confidence in saying this is what teams deal with, and you've got to learn to deal with it better to get out of it faster and become more experienced because of it. This is not I think we can get I know we're going to get to the other side of this, and it's painful as it is. I think we're going to be better because of it.
Sorry, I don't know.
No problem. Tim.
What's the difference between a reason and an excuse when you're communicating with each other?
Tim, can you give me an example? Like, I'm trying to think of a reason and an excuse. I don't know.
We don't have Tage. Our 5 penalty killers are out of the line.
Those are realities.
Reasons.
Yeah.
Some people might say, well, that's an excuse.
Yeah.
Teams do go through this, like you say, but
Yeah.
why haven't you been able to deal with those reasons?
Yeah, those are not excuses. That's the reality you deal with, and we've got to deal with that reality better. Whether it's in coverage or whether it's in offensive situations, and first of all, the psyche of it, and being more confident and assertive. So, there is no excuse. Nobody wants to hear me give an excuse. That's for sure, and I don't give excuses to those guys either. No.
Do you see any differences in the Detroit team from tonight? I mean, obviously missing some of the guys you are, but considering the success you had against them last year, anything stand out as different about them?
I thought we had our opportunities tonight. There were moments that we weren't how we wanted to play, but we had lots of opportunities to score more than we scored, and even right to the end, the shot block, we had a play on the backside of the net that was a pretty good opportunity. We had pretty good opportunities to tie the game with Cousins in front of the net and Skinner to the side of the net. What I see in the game is we left a lot of opportunity on the table as well to be back in that game, tie that game, and even better.
You said you feel these guys are accountable, but I'll just speak for myself. As I watch the game, it doesn't seem like they're accountable. What makes you feel like they are?
They work, they care, they're competitors. Is there some? What I see is a little bit of fear. I think Mike just used the word fragile, and that comes across as hesitation. That comes across as second guessing yourself. That's what I see. That's what when I put it in the context of teams I've been with and players you've been with, you go through ups and downs and you're challenged, and we're a team that's in a challenging spot and got to fight through it. And so yeah, you can clarify better your question. I can give you more, but
Tate mentioned this morning that he doesn't feel like there's any panic in the room. How do you balance, I guess, you don't want panic in there, you don't want guys, panicking, but also pressing the urgency and 26 games in to fight through this?
we had, this is not similar to games I can think of last year, games 50, 52, 54, where we sat in this room and it was like panic. It was like the season's over. Again, this is an 82-game season. You have the team that makes the playoffs going to have one more point than the other team, and it's what you need. You need one more point. It's not going to be perfect, especially and you can feel the pressure of being perfect, and it can cloud you from just getting the job done. And right now, we have to learn to just get a job done despite feeling any vulnerabilities. You can't identify with those. Find a way to win. And like I said, this can be a real productive thing to go through. And I believe our guys are going to use it as such.